everybody, it's your favourite toothless wonder back again with another video. And boy have I got my work cut out. My good old dad has, or was I should say, offered 6 felled trees by the side of the railway. And of course, dad being dad, I think he's gone and picked up the lot. And all this, most of it, has to be split and stacked away. And as you can see, there is an absolute ton of it. A lot of it's sycamore. There's a bit of oak, a little bit of oak, and some silver birch. Now a lot of it's been starting to crack already. I've got the trusty splitters set up already. As I say, a lot of it's already starting to crack. It's been down about, I think, a month. He picked it up 2 weeks after it was cut. Now it's just a case of going through it all and splitting. So I've got the two main rows here, 2 main stacks. There's a big stack there. Another whole stack here, as you can see, all these lengths. In the middle, we've got all the flotsam and jetsam. And I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to work. What I'm probably going to do is take it from here first of all, get rid of some of these, get them on the splitter, get them chucked away, and then I think it'll be a case of moving some other gear around. A lot of this stuff on the outside has a lot of knots, a lot of bifurcations, a lot of nearly fell over. A lot of limbs, as you can see, that have been lopped off, so that there will need to be chainsawed because that'll be full of knots. But there's a lot of damn good wood here that just needs splitting in half and stacking. This is going to be a long one. There's a lot to do. So I've already made a little start because there's so much wood. I've no I've no place to put my tripod. It's all the way over there, so I'm trying to clear a bit of space in order to get this sort of filming area and a workspace where I can just put the logs down here and split them. I thought I'd give you a little insight into some of the wood we work with. This is what I call a boxer shorts log. Now, if you can see here, there's 2 sets of rings there, and that's because this log was split. It was about to be, well, it was 2 separate limbs, 1 limb there and 1 limb there. It was a split limb, and I'm hoping to get this right down the centre. So as you can see, there's 1 set of rings there. Sorry, there's 2 sets of rings there and 1 here. So here, as you can see, you've got a split coming right here into 2 separate limbs. So I'm going to have a go at splitting this one, see if it goes right down the centre. It should do, and we'll see how it looks in the middle. The centre will look very decorative, I think. Well, this is the result. We had a successful split, but not from the end that I switched to the blade. This is the end with the 2 rings, and I had to split it at that end because I think what's happened is, because there's so much tightness here, so much wood, so much knotting, the wood is a lot thicker, a lot denser, so I had to turn it round. And we've got it split, but I can't split the twin rings on the blade. It has to go by the single ring on the blade, because there it's less dense and there's less wood to split, if that makes sense. It's kind of a crazy one to understand. Here it's just a lot thicker, a lot denser. On the other end it's less dense, so it's easier to split. So just another little update for everybody. I still don't have a place to put the tripod, so I can't film all the splitting, which is a damn shame because we're getting through some seriously juicy wood. But it's coming together. It'll come together. So I've taken most of the wood from down the side here because, believe it or not, there's still more to come. And the old man, my good old dad, is going to need a place to put it. So I'm going to try and make a bit of space here so we can just take it out of the trailer straight over here. So we've got this piled down a little bit. I've taken it from the sides and just sort of piled it up here, ready to go on the splitter. And these are all the logs that I've split so far. They're all going in there, stacked to dry out for at least a year. ready for, oh blimey, it's just wood everywhere here. I don't think there's one straight surface. So it's all going good. I'm hoping to have, like I say, a place to film properly from maybe about an hour's time, but I've got to get rid of some of this wood first. I've got to get this down, make a bit of space, because as I say, there's more wood coming and I need to get the tripod set up. So bear with. Well, a little update. Well, just first of all, a little insight into some of the logs that we work with. So I've tried to split this end of this log first. That's where it went through. It didn't split because it has this bifurcation here where there would have been a limb, but I've put it through the other end, pushed it from this end, and this knot here is splitting from the rest of the bifurcation. So what I'm going to do is split this and show you the knot actually removed. And there we have it. I had to put it through from the other end because the wood here is so dense and tightly packed around this this limb here, and it's just literally peeled out of this. The splitter peeled it out of the trunk. It's a hell of a machine. You can't split every piece of wood, and the woods that do give you trouble, you've got to find a way around it. Whether you go to the sort of the edge of the log and take off sort of maybe a third or a quarter even. You can't go down the middle with some of them. But this one I've gone down the side with it, and it's just peeled out nicely. This is part of the reason I love splitting wood. See that? That is just a split from this piece here as I run it through the splitter. The whole thing just separated. Anyway, time for a little update. I've completely changed the landscape of this log pile because, well, I had no choice really. I'll just zoom out a bit. There we go. So most of this stuff here it's being cut down. That's actually over there. You see the size of the piece here on the splitter. That's about the size of all the pieces that were down here, and there's a few more. But I've had to chainsaw a lot of them up because they're just too thick. They're too fat, too wide, too dense. So this pile over here, that needs chainsawing. All this over here is for my dad to go through in his own time. It's full of all sorts of weird bits and chunks. And shortly, I'm going to chainsaw all this. Now it's all cut to 14-inch lengths, as you can see. When I get to that end, I'll worry about that end. Plenty to do, as usual. Alright, here we go again. So, after 2.5 days, I finally have the space to do some filming. That's got to be split. That's got to be chainsawed. That's got to be chainsawed. And that lot in there, that's all been cut this morning. All this, that's all got to be stacked. And that's my dad's job. He's the one who takes care of the stacking. He's pretty good at it because he doesn't want too much surface to surface contact, because all this has got to be dried out. As you can see, it's all got to dry out, and if it's surface to surface, flat to flat, it just won't work. So I'm going to set up the tripod and finally get a bit of splitting done on camera. Finally, away we go. This is our block used to spread out pressure. Perfect. I've got to be careful where I put these logs because Dad still has to get them inside the shed. Give that one more. Perfect. Lovely split. As I mentioned in some of my other videos on splitting, some logs you've got to take a little bit further because of all the fibres, or you could have a knot that's going in from one side to the other side of the log, and you need to push it in just a bit further so you get the knot out and it splits. This one more. There we go. Shake all the mud off it. Right down the centre. There's nothing like the noise of that crunch. Dad loves it. Damn big logs in there. All right. About one more, because it's a bit lopsided. Flip that way. Nope. So, we're getting down to it now. I think the rest of this will have to be chainsawed, so I'm just going to change angles a bit. Show you where we go from here. Alright, here goes. Whoop, blimey. The ground is so uneven here. Right, here we go. Right, now we're aware. I had to edit a little bit of video out there because Dad came out in his dressing gown looking like Jacob Marley. I better tighten that chain. very loose. Bear with. Hey, that's it all done. So this is a Husqvarna 545 Professional. Fantastic little saw. Not the most powerful. The blade is brand new. We don't particularly need a big fat blade or a chunky engine. The pieces we're going to go through are not too bad. This will handle it. Damn good machine. And my dad gave me this, and I'm very grateful to him. My first chainsaw, the hell of a machine, does the job. So thanks Dad. Let's have some fun. Responsibly, of course. Like a bullet through butter. Heavy. Didn't quite go all the way through, so now we do the other side. Bit of a mismatch, nothing bad. Nasty. So, last piece for now. Beautiful. Now it's time to do some threading. time to do a bit more splitting. Now I've got to be careful. This wood, because it's so thick, dense and damp, when it splits it tends to go shooting off. So I've got to just ease it in a bit, be gentle with it. We're getting a spot of rain at the moment. Not enough to stop play, but we'll see how it goes. There are that many logs around the shed, all everywhere. I've got to start putting them down here now. Here now. Space is at a premium. Try the other end. There we go. That's the reason for the difficulty. A great knot. Great as in a large, of course. Nothing fantastic about the knot. That's just a little joke. There we have the knot split right down the centre. Right. See, because of the sheer weight and thickness and density of these pieces, I've had to chainsaw them down. The split is a damn good machine, but it just will not, it won't be pushed, and I won't push it. I take it to its limit, but not past it. You see? That's the old exploding log. There we've got a bifurcation coming that way and going that way. Now when a log has knots in it and we're splitting it, the knot will prevent the log from exploding, shooting out, because obviously it's got more grip to it. But when it's just one straight piece of wood, it explodes apart. So the knot's kind of working in our favour. That's a nice piece. Rolling through the back of the undertone. This is why I can never give you a close-up of the log splitting. goodness, deadly weapons. Much better. Maybe we should turn the splitter this way, so that if they're going to explode, they'll explode actually into the log pile. Put this way a touch. It's a bugger to move this thing. There we go. So that works. If indeed it works. I'll see if I can get you an angle on the splitter, because some people find it very ASMR-esque. Yeah, hopefully that's a bit better for you. Dear me. Perfect log. Heavy and big. Okay. It's gone into a knot. Ah, right there. The knot inside there's come away from there. And now the splitter is actually cutting into the knot. Let's just turn this around a touch. There we go. Yeah, that's a big one. This is why these have to be chainsawed first. They're too thick and they're just full of knots and bifurcations. And I do believe I've got to straighten out this splitter again. wheel resting on a brick just to level it out. Come on. There we go. That'll do. Turn it this way a touch. Perfect. Classic example. I've just buggered up the entire log pile. Now here, there's a huge knot right there. So I'm going to take it, I think, maybe from there. Because this end will have less pressure, less density than this end. I'm hoping. Why you never stand in front of these buggers. So I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. I've got to straighten up and tidy up this splitter and put these logs in a pile, give myself a bit more space. So I'll come back once that's done. I do believe we'll get a spot of rain as well. I can start to feel it. So I'll come back shortly. Oh, a little bit of chainsawing. I'm going to do some of these smaller blocks with my 545. We'll do the bigger ones, I think, with the 572. It's a lot more powerful. I think this will just get through these. So first the prime. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Pull up and out. piece is full of knots and bifurcations. The only way to get through this is to chainsaw it. Limb, limb, limb. perfect rod. Single screw. for the moment. The rest are all big heavy pieces. I need a bigger machine. So I'll film my dad doing some cutting shortly. Okay, a little bit better organised now. Make some space. Put most of the logs inside the shed ready for stacking. I'm just going to split what I've got left here. And I think a bit more chainsawing. I've almost split everything. But we'll see. Where's the drive on? There it is. This one has a huge knot in it right there, where it's been locked. I'll do this from this end. I'm going to get 3 out of this one. It's a big heavy bugger. A bit closer to the edge. There we go. See, again, as I said previously, the knots keep the logs together actually as they're splitting. Try the other side. There we go. Turn it all up. How are we doing?
I want to start.
Plenty in there ready for you.
Yes, sir.
More to come.
I'll need to lift out of that press sometime.
Well, we'll get that one so we've got some
Stick the bit and install it. Get it sold. Second, see lawyers and people, offices.
pressure on society, so to speak. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We'll come on this bit.
Do we need to?
Thanks, so easy for it.
Get this. There. Two here.
Oh, yeah. Yep. In the full kit. Yeah. There's no certain footing anywhere.
No, it's alright though. Look here. Have you done some stuff?
Yeah, I've done a bit.
Oh, so, goodness. It's over half full in that next row.
Right, I'll crack on, alright.
Pardon?
I'll crack on, you shout if you need me.
Yes, yeah. Swiggling into it.
Yeah, there's a massive knot right in the centre.
Yeah.
I should have taken it from, I should have turned it over actually. Put it this way. Perfect. Perfect.
See, that,
That's what you need.
this one here, the white one. No, two in, right next to the post. Oh, shoot!
Got it?
How beautiful is that?
Like a jigsaw, eh?
Yeah. Right, it's not really warm today, Chris.
Second?
Not really warm today.
No, no.
You alright?
Fine, fine. 2 minutes. Alright, it's time to do a bit more splitting. Now, I've got to be careful. This wood, because it's so thick, and dense and damp, when it splits it tends to go shooting off. So I've got to just ease it in a bit, be gentle with it. We're getting a spot of rain at the moment. Not enough to stop play, but we'll see how it goes. There are that many logs around the shed, all everywhere. I've got to start putting them down here now. Here now. Space is at a premium. Try the other end. There we go. That's the reason for the difficulty. A great knot. Great as in a large, of course. Nothing fantastic about the knot. just a little joke. Now we have the nut split right down the centre. See, because of the sheer weight and thickness and density of these pieces, I've had to chainsaw them down. The splitter's a damn good machine, but it just will not, it won't be pushed, and I won't push it. I take it to its limit, but not past it. You see? That's the old exploding log. There we've got a bifurcation coming that way and going that way. Now when a log has knots in it and we're splitting it, the knot will prevent the log from exploding, shooting out, because obviously it's got more grip to it. But when it's just one straight piece of wood, it explodes apart. So the knot's kind of work in our favour. That's a nice piece. Rolling through the back of the undertone. This is why I can never give you a close-up of the log splitting. My goodness, deadly weapons. Much better. Maybe I should turn the splitter this way, so that if they're going to explode, they'll explode actually into the log pile. Put this way a touch. It's a bugger to move this thing. There we go. So that works. If indeed it works. I'll see if I can get you an angle on the splitter, because some people find it very ASMR-esque. Yeah, hopefully that's a bit better for you. Dear me. Perfect log. Heavy and big. Okay. It's gone into a knot. Right there. The knot inside there's come away from there. And now the splitter is actually cutting into the knot. Let's just turn this around a touch. There we go. Yeah, that's a big one. This is why these have to be chainsawed first. They're too thick and they're just full of knots and bifurcations. And I do believe I've got to straighten out this splitter again. I've got the left wheel resting on a brick just to level it out. Come on. There we go. That'll do. Turn it this way a touch. Perfect. Classic example. I've just buggered up my entire log pile. Now here, there's a huge knot right there. So I'm going to take it, I think, maybe from there. Because this end will have less pressure, less density than this end. I'm hoping. Why you never stand in front of these buggers. So I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. I've got to straighten up and tidy up this splitter and put these logs in a pile, give myself a bit more space. I'll come back once that's done. I do believe we're going to spot the rain as well. I can start to feel it. So I'll come back shortly. Oh, a little bit of chainsawing. I'm going to do some of these smaller blocks with my 545. I'm going to do the bigger ones, I think, with the 572. It's a lot more powerful. I think this will just get through these others. So press the prime. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Pull up and out.
This piece is full of knots and bifurcations. The only way to get through this is to chainsaw it. Limb.
perfect log. See what else there is? That's it for the moment. The rest are all big heavy pieces. I need a bigger machine. So I'll film my dad doing some cutting shortly. Okay, a little bit better organised now. There's some space. Put most of the logs inside the shed ready for stacking. I'm just going to split what I've got left here. And I think a bit more chainsawing. I've almost split everything. But we'll see. That's it. Where's the drive on? There it is. This one has a huge knot in it right there, where it's been locked. I do this from this end. I'm going to get 3 out of this one. It's a big heavy bugger. A bit closer to the edge. There we go. See again, as I said previously, the knots keep the logs together actually as they're splitting.
Try the other side. There we go. Turn it over. How we doing?
I want to start.
Plenty in there ready for you.
Great
More-
stuff.
More to come.
I'll need to lift out that fresh sometime.
Well, we'll get that one so good.
Stick the bit and all it. Get it sold. Acceptable. See lawyers and people. Offices.
Pressure on society, so to speak. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
We'll come around this way.
Do we need to?
Oh, so easy for it.
Get this. This, eh? Two here.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Two.
In the full kit. Yeah. There's no certain footing anywhere.
No, it's alright look here. Oh, have you done some stuff?
Yeah, I've done a bit.
Oh, so, goodness. It's over half full. That next row.
Right, I'll crack on, alright.
Pardon?
I'll crack on, you shout if you need me.
Yes, yeah. Wiggling into it.
Yeah, there's a massive knot right in the centre.
Yeah.
I should have taken it from, I should have turned it over actually. Put it this way. Not No, two in, right next to the post.
Good. Cute.
Got it?
How beautiful is that?
Like a jigsaw, eh?
Yeah. Right, it's not very warm today, Chris.
Second?
Not very warm today.
No, no.
You alright?
Fine, fine.
Not suffering at all.
2 minutes. So it's time to split the wood I just literally cut. If I have explosive logs, the tripod is the first thing going. Now this one was very interesting. It is packed with knots. Packed. That was a very good split. So there's only one knot in the centre, as you can see here. But on the outside is a little in, everywhere. And there's a bit surprised there. It just shows you the variety of wood and the shapes and the thicknesses. Very good. No explosions yet. Got a piece of wood putting up? Got a piece of wood putting up? There, there. This is pushing it. That's so difficult. Coke. This might be a challenge. But I've been wonderful. That's the noise you want to hear. you. Right. Well, that's it for now. So let's figure out what to do next. Good morning again. This is day 4 of the great splitting adventure. Just doing a couple of hours today because we're going out later on, but thankfully there's not a great deal left to do. All these have either got to be chainsawed or split. I think that one might split, but the rest I'll have to chainsaw. That one might split as well, that one on the top. And I've got these down here. They've got to be chainsawed. And these last few bits here. This is what we took care of yesterday. Chainsawed. Most of that is oak. It'll burn fantastic when it's dried out. And that'll be it, we hope. I'm not entirely sure what I'll have to do once it's done. I'm hoping to get it all done by today. 2 or 3 hours time. But time will tell. Hopefully this will be the last day of the logging. Right. I'm going to put everything just here so it's ready to grab hold of. Well, that's the plan. These things are so heavy. There we go. Oh, goodness. And that's it. That is the last of it. So the plan is chainsaw all this into manageable strips or chunks, and then we're going to put them on the splitter, and I'm hoping that'll be done in the next 2 to 3 hours, and they're all just going to get thrown into there, all the logs, ready for Dad to take care of when he's up and about. So the saw's all oiled up, all fueled up, ready to go. I'm hoping this will be the last episode of chainsawing in this video. Let's see how far we get. So, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the biggest pain in the neck. Not sure what it's doing there. But out time will tell. That's it, all done. My goodness, what a little beast. So now I've just got to split all this, get it stacked, job done. So for this video, or this part of the video, I wanted to give you a bit more of a bird's eye view of the splitter. Some people on YouTube, when they watch these videos, they seem to like the sound of the wood cracking, seeing the wood split. And rightly so, it's a nice sound. The smell is very nice as well. We've finally got a stable filming base as well. There's plenty of ground now to use the tripod, and we have the space, so that's good. I've also angled this toward the log pile so that any exploding logs go straight into the shed, which is to our mutual benefit. A, the tripod doesn't get taken out, B, I get to keep all my limbs, and C, it practically stacks itself. Here we go. Other end. Now, because this is cut at an angle and that's cut at a chamfer, it can be difficult to find a splitting point. So you've got to work it around, move it around, see what works and what doesn't. Let's leave this one. Lost my block. There it is. Now, don't get me wrong, this is an absolute masterclass in how not to use some of these machines. Well, I'm not a professional. I'd never presumed to be so. Bit ugly. I'm sure this one will give us some trouble. Same problem. That's the problem with knots. It tends to just break a little bit. Try it down the middle. See how it works. Much better. There we go. That's a lot better. You can see there where it's being held together so densely. A limb there, bifurcation, there's a knot there. That's split lovely. As it starts to break down, naturally it has a lot less resistance. And it's not just a case of throwing a log on and splitting it. If the end towards the ram is chamfered that way, that's to your advantage. If it's chamfered this way, this block will just push it up, as you saw in the beginning of the video. So it's important, if you can, to try to get your log, if it's not cut straight, get the chamfer like so, because then the block sort of closes over it like so. I only found that out by using this machine 3 black eyes later. Beautiful. Oops, still got a piece down here. Wow, that's a lovely piece. As you can see, the great big limb been locked off there. That's just a little too big, so we'll try and get it down. Worked better than I thought. Much better. I must maintain this machine at some point. Needs a good clean up. A couple of new screws. Nasty one. Again, there's your knot. So awkward. My dad likes to stack these things neatly, and if there's any sort of knots or limbs sticking out, it bugs up this whole pile. Right, see how this one goes. And there's your explosion. Like I needed to tell you. Again, the end of this one is chamfered like so, which is of course to our advantage. Beautiful. That's how we like them. Perfect. Let's get the tank out the way. There should be a lovely split right down the middle. Now I think this is where the tree split. I think we've got a split here and a bifurcation, a limb and a limb here. And also we've got the classic pattern, like a zip, but it's about to split into two. You can see that? Beautiful. Let's see what happens. Try it the way around. Because it's a limb length, it might just be a bit too dense. Might need another chainsawing. That is the perfect log. Absolutely perfect. Now this is exceptionally gnarly. It will give us a challenge. This is about the limit of what I would try on the splitter. Anything with any more knots and gnarls I just wouldn't bother. And this has already been chainsawed in half. Very surprised. Well, that was a clean split. All those knots and gnarls, and it split right down the centre. And you give that one more, it's quite thick. Now push them all up now. Yep. See, this entire side is just dense limb. Let's try it this way. A bit further into the wood. One more. For there. And I'm not going to push it, so keep that safe. Again, very gnarly. Hoping for a good split. I'm not holding out much hope for this one. This is exceptionally gnarly. Very good. You can see how the split. Whoop. Come here. You can see how the split has occurred around the knot, which is so very often the case. It's a good log. Try halving it. It's still a bit big. The opening to my father's fire is 7 inches wide, but it can take 14-inch logs. So we've got to get the width and the length correct. Try this. No, it's a little too knotty. As you can see there, it's just split around the knot. So put that one aside for the chainsaw. Beautiful. Right down the centre, perfect split. Just going to get that one more. One end is wider than the other. Much better. See, this is why I don't have an assistant. I couldn't be liable. Perfect log. I'm pretty sure this one will give us trouble. I landed right between the tripod legs. Try from the other end. Oh, we did. Try again. See, again, it splits around the knot. I'll put that through one more time, right down the centre. Try me luck. Wow! Very surprising. So again, it split around the knot, but it split nonetheless. So it wasn't as big a knot as I thought it was. That's just a limb that's been locked off, say, I'm not sure, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. Spot on. might get 3 out of this one. Perfect. That was a perfect log. Split down in 3. No dramas. Now this is a big gnarly old bugger. So we take it away from the edge that has all the limbs and knots, splits, bifurcations. Let's see where that takes us. Almost. One more try. In fact, what we'll do, we'll turn it. Put it just a little bit closer to the edge so there's a bit less resistance. I can hear it cracking, but it's not going. Almost had a casualty there. I'm not going to try splitting the rest of this. It's just a bit too gnarly. So that can go into storage, ready for chainsaw. Ah, a little caterpillar. Put him somewhere you can change into a butterfly. Best of luck. It came out of nowhere. Ah, try to get my eyes on that. Chamfered the wrong way. Four logs in one cut. Perfect. Why can't they all be like that? Chamfered the wrong way. Look. I'm cutting a log, a chunk down to logs, I try to keep the cut off that side. But it's just not possible sometimes, so that the heavier leftover piece falls this way and I can catch it. Sometimes it's just not possible. Bit of a knot in there, as indeed we expected. I'm going to put it through this way. That should hopefully give us 2 nice fat logs. Beautiful. Absolutely perfect. Yes, sod you. I did say this is amateur production. Perfect. I've already split this one. It's cracking. Almost going. Give it one more go. Try the other end. Try closer to the edge. So instead of going down the centre, we'll go to the edge and see if we can cut there and there instead of just down the centre. And that way you get 3 logs, not particularly big, you get a split. Ah, there's the problem. A huge knot. Try it this way. Yay. Always a way. Lovely. That is particularly big, so I'm going to take it down the centre one more time. Now there's a great deal less resistance, so this absolutely should go. Hey there. I better just check you guys are still in focus. Yes, you are. So I've twisted the last few pieces over here, so I'm not going back and forth all the time. These are the last few bits. This is the final run, hopefully. Well, it is the final run. So I'm knackered. It's not chamfered, but it's not ideal either. That's a weird angle to cut at, but it worked. Got a large limb here, hence we have a large, massive nut actually. It may need to be chainsawed. I'll have a go at it. Blimey. Ugh. That's cool. It's not a great area of pressure just here, so it might not work. Yep, that's a chainsaw, that one. That limb there is just too big to get through. Put that in there. Lovely. Keep going back over there. Oh, between that and that, two beautiful logs. That's not straight. Now it is. Almost got me too. There's a nut in there, I think. Yeah. that's okay. That's good enough. And this is it, the last one of that entire load that you saw at the beginning of the video. This is the last piece, apart from those buggers. Well, I couldn't do my swan song without a bit of drama. Chamfered. That's not. That's it. Those are the last two. Now all that's left to do is to have a bit of a tidy up time. Put all this away. That's all the pile. That's where all the wood was. And that's where all the wood is now. Well, that's all done for this video. If you've made it this far, you deserve a medal. All the wood is gone. The split is stacked away. All the wood is there. Ready for me good old dad to stack. All clear. Just ready for the next lot now, which knowing my father will not take long. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Very much appreciated. From your favourite toothless wonder. See you next time.